Good evening. This is an appeal, local, national, international, to try and find out the identity of a gentleman who was found in 1982 close to Tregantle Fort, at a place called Trethill Cliff. It's close to a village called Tor Point, which is just west of Plymouth. The gentleman was found, as I say, in 1982. Sadly, only his skeleton remained. With him was a British passport with the issue date stamped on it, but no name, no other information on it. He also had with him a blue Merchant Navy discharge book. Sadly, all identity was wiped off that as well. He had some coinage from the late 1970s. There was also a remnants of the Sun newspaper from 1978, and duffel coat, and apparently a small rucksack was with him. The police and CID took nearly a year trying to identify him. They managed to get the number of names down to about 23 by using the issue date on his passport. He was then buried in 1983, still without a name. Really, this is an appeal now. We've been through the National Archives, the National Seamen's Archives. I've spoken with one of the former police officers who was at the scene of the discovery, so he's given me a lot of information. Really, it seems now that the appeal route is probably going to be the best thing. I'm backed up by saying that. I have a short quote here from the National Archives duty officer who replied to one of my emails a couple of weeks ago, and in it he says, "As you'll appreciate, even with advances in technology, in a situation where there is no name or specific details about a missing person or an identified death, it can be nigh on impossible to identify them using public records. By making your blog post, which is what I've done, you've taken exactly the right course of action. We always note to inquirers that announcing who you are trying to identify in a public forum and seeing if a family reaches out is more likely to lead to positive feedback rather than undertaking lengthy searches of public records that in most cases lead to no results." So this gentleman was found in 1982. The coroner believed he would have been about between 25 and 30 when he died. We're sort of taking the fact that he may well have died in 1978 due to the Sun newspaper. So we're looking for family, friends, and shipmates, because he may well have been in the Merchant Navy, it does sound like it, who basically are waiting for news or information of this gentleman who died nearly 50 years ago. His parents, if they're still alive, would be over 90. His potential brothers and sisters, cousins, would be similar age to him, which would be around 74. You're then looking at kids. What would they be? 54, roughly. Grandkids down to 30s, 35s. Godchildren. There's nephews and nieces. It's and anyone doing a family tree, anyone that has got a sort of blank for a person, sort of born in around 1945 to 1950 to 1953, 4, was in the Merchant Navy, British passport. What more can we say? I think if anybody can relate to those dates, the British passport, the Merchant Navy bit, the gentleman would have been 74-ish now, disappeared around the late 70s, and he would have been around 26, 27 then. Please do get in touch. I don't think there's too much more I can tell you. We're obviously trying to make this as sensitive and a caring investigation as possible. The gentleman is known in Tor Point as Some Mother's Son. That's on his headstone at the grave. which was paid for and is still cared for by the local people. It would be hopefully amazing to find out who this gentleman is or was, so that we could potentially put a name to his headstone and to be put back in touch with his family and friends and shipmates. So anyone who can, this rings a bell or it awakens a memory, or you think, oh, we've been looking for this guy for 50 years, please do get in touch. Thank you.